After sharing this photo in a Facebook group, I was asked to share a bit more about my technique using the Heirloom Traditions countertop bundle. I have completed half of my countertops and I'm going to be doing the other half today, and I will videotape to show you how I do it. On the left side here, you can see that the surface is prepped with almond, but the detail has only been completed on the right side. Believe it or not, this is the color I started with. First of all, you're going to want to make sure everything is prepared before you start, because once you do begin, everything's going to move very fast. You're going to stir up all of your paint products. I used a plastic fork that worked really well. And then you're going to mix your tintable antiquing gel in with your colors. I used a 3-to-1 ratio with the weather vane, 3 parts of the tintable antiquing gel and 1 part weather vane. And for the spruce, I used a 1-to-1. I used a half teaspoon for each part, so this is not very much product at all, just a half teaspoon. So 3 of those of the antiquing gel and 1 of the weather vane and 1-to-1 on the spruce. All right, so here I'm going to start to show you how I'm going to begin. I have the white antiquing gel here. I'm going to put it on the sponge, and we're going to put this right over the dried almond. That almond needs to be dry before this is put on. I believe that I waited 7 days just because of how my schedule worked out. I think you only have to wait 3, but double check on that on your product. So it's definitely dry. You just want to smear this around. Make sure you have enough product to really just get it smeared around. This is going to feel very much like child's finger painting, not like anything perfect. Don't worry about being too perfect. I like to make broad sweeping motions, try to make kind of fluid motions. I try to think about the motion of the water and of the wind and just natural things when I'm doing this, to try to keep myself from making straight lines, because I don't want any straight lines in this design. This next part is going to feel very wrong, but just trust the process. You're going to use the weather vane on a different sponge, and you're going to just smear it around, but not all over. If you want the look like I did, then you want to pick sort of long, narrow sections to do this too. So you can see how I am spreading it all on in a horizontal kind of area, but it's not a line. Keep it very natural and a lot of movement in it, and it's okay to have dimension and depth to it. That is what helps it look more natural. So add as much or as little as you'd like. For the look that I'm achieving, I try to be a bit more sparse, but of course if you're going for even more veining and detail, then you'd want to add more. Now I'm coming in with the dry roller just to soften and smooth and blend things out a little bit, especially on the ends, and the look is already pretty well blended, but I want to make sure that there aren't any wet lines in the paint. I want to make sure that they're all smoothed out so that I don't see any sort of actual lines of texture rising up in certain parts. I don't want to see the paint painted on, if that makes sense. I want it all blended together. So dry roller, you don't need a lot of pressure to this part, but you can apply a little bit more pressure in certain spots if you want it blended a little bit more. But be careful to do this quickly before the paint dries. As it dries more, it'll be more difficult to blend it in. All right, now I'm taking the white antiquing gel and I'm putting it on again. I am not sure if you're supposed to put it on again at this stage. I don't remember, but I did. I feel that the more you can build up the layers, the more natural it's going to look. So I'm throwing another layer of this on. I feel like I used more than what someone normally would use, but I love this product. The white antiquing gel is pretty awesome. So putting another layer on, it is making everything a little bit more subtle, and again moving in really kind of smooth, watery kind of shapes. Now get out the faux pas. Okay, this is the exciting part. Now I wear the faux pas on my left hand, even though it would fit better on my right hand. I'm going to use the weather vane. And the reason for that is that you want to have your roller ready immediately, because the paint is going to dry so quickly, the little bits that come off the faux pas. So I'm better with the roller in my right hand, so I'm putting the faux pas in my left hand so that I can go at it with my right hand and the roller right away. I already have it in my hand. There's no time to stop and pick it up. So here I'm just putting some of the spots, some of the texture on, and then I'm rolling it out right away. We want to feather it out. We want to make sure that it gets really blended out so that it looks natural and so it doesn't look like a chunk of paint sitting on top of your countertop. That'll look really fake. You can see there's this really dark spot there. It was actually an old piece of paint from the last time when I did the other section, and I got that off, but I guess I didn't clean my faux pas very well, so make sure you clean it well. So I'm just going in with a little bit at a time. You do not want to faux pas your entire countertop and then try to smooth it out, because it will be impossible. It'll dry, it'll get hardened and stay dark and look very, very fake. So just dab it on, roll it out, a little at a time. Now I'm going to go in with the spruce, putting it right over the top of the weather vane. It's fine if they mix up a bit. And just, I'm going to do the same process. Same thing as before. A little at a time, blur it out with that dry roller. Make sure the roller does stay dry. If it does end up getting a lot of paint on it, then you'll want to use a different one or clean it off, dry it off. Here's one of my favorite parts. I'm using a feather to do some veining. You can also use an artist brush for this, just like a kid's paintbrush would work for this just fine too. My feather actually wasn't working as well for me today, so I think some of the end of the feather had gotten stiff from not getting all the paint out the last time, so it worked better for me the first time, but still it's kind of fun to use something from nature to make that veining. But of course, feel free to use a thin paintbrush as well, just kind of twisting it in your fingers as you move down the way you don't want to make a stripe, but instead just a kind of a wavy little path. And then blur them out, blur it out. It might add some other little spots of paint. It's fine, just blur it out and soften it up. Here's my favorite again, the white antiquing gel. We're going to put this over the top again, of course, because when we're looking at marble, we don't see surface veining and surface coloring. We're seeing what's deep within the stone. So we need to cover that up and try to make it look more realistic by adding another layer over the top. We're still going to see everything, believe me, but it's going to make it feel like it is within instead of just painted on the top. So put that antiquing gel on again and put on as much or as little as you want to. Same process as before. And so this kit that I'm using is called the Calacatta marble kit, and it comes with almond as the base coat, and then the white antiquing gel is a very different shade of white. It's more of a true white, and the almond is more of a taupey undertone, off-white. So we've got two different whites here. They don't match each other, but they blend in together well. So as we're mixing this white on top of the base coat white, blending it all together, it's giving it so much depth and dimension, and it looks so much more natural compared to just one flat base color with veining put on top of it. It's a really smart design. I think that Heirloom Traditions has done a great job of matching the right paint colors within the kit to make it really easy to get this incredible look. After completing this side of the project, I still have all this paint left over, so don't mix too much beforehand. You really don't need a lot. And here is the look. I have to wait now before I can add my top coat. I did buy the water-resistant gloss finish sealer, and I am so excited to see what it will look like with a gloss finish, but I'll have to patiently wait until it is fully dried to add that. I'm looking forward to doing that, and I really hope that this video will help anybody who is thinking of taking on a project like this and just needs a little bit of help to get started. So best of luck with your projects, and thanks for watching. Bye!